What is going on, Bucs fans and CFP fans? Evan and Wanish here, back at you with yet another video talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And today we are going to be continuing with our positional group previews for training camp before the Buccaneers set out in their 2025 season. We have already done the QBs and the running backs on CFP's YouTube channel, so if you want to go check them out, head on over after this video. But today we're going to be talking about the wide receivers. And I mean, look, arguably, maybe not even arguably, probably the best positional group on the team. It has remained that way for a long time. We all know who's pretty much in it, right? But we're going to go over it and we're going to talk about a few interesting things here that could be happening this training camp. Obviously, you have the two guys at the top, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Not going to spend much time on Mike Evans, but there is a big question about Chris Godwin. And look, Mike Evans is getting up there in age, right? There's no guarantee that he'll be able to play all 17 games, but there's also no guarantee that Chris Godwin is even going to start the season healthy for the Buccaneers after having a pretty major injury last year. He is still on the physically unable to perform list right now. So what do you think, James, which, hey, I'm joined by Mr. James Hill, aka Mr. Bucs Nation. What do you think, James, about Chris Godwin's status for the season opener? What do you think about, is he going to miss some time here? How cautious do you think the Buccaneers are going to be playing it with Chris Godwin after giving him, a sizable contract extension?
I mean, man, me and you have talked about this before. Be as cautious as possible because one, the Bucs can afford to do so because they have a deep wide receiver room. But two, me and you have mentioned it before, I don't want this to be a lingering issue. I don't want there to be situations where it's like, Chris Godwin, yeah, he's back, but is he playing this week? I don't know. It's up in the air. Like, I don't want that, man, because that's so annoying. And it's just like, it's not necessary if you're going to go through all these precautions. At this point, don't rush him back, right? Like, bring him back when he is 100% ready to come back and not be on that injury report. That's the way I want to see it, right? That's how cautious I believe they should be. Whether or not they will do that, because we've had mixed results. Sometimes they do that. Sometimes they don't do that. We'll see. But yeah, I've heard Todd Bowles say it could be ready week 1, could be ready week 3. I don't know, man. Like, it's just going to be a waiting game. At this point, it's not going to make any sense for us to be like, is he going to be back week 1? Is he going to be back week 3? Just believe it when you see it type of waiting mode is kind of where everything's at right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's there's too much time right now, right, in between now and the season opener, right? We still got over a month, so it doesn't have to be. And I don't think the Buccaneers are going to rush him back. I think they do want this to sort of be done right, and I think, as you alluded to earlier, that the fact that the wide receiver room is in the shape it's in allows them to do that. And look, addressing the wide receiver room, like I said, your strongest positional group room, which might have been your strongest room anyway, but then you add in the 19th overall pick in Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. I mean, look, it was a pick that I think surprised many people, especially with who was available on the board at the time. And I don't really think it was many people that were like, mad at like this specific player. It's just that position, right?
Contextually.
Maybe with Godwin's injury, that's a little bit more insight there, but then you're getting into why did you resign Godwin in the first place, this and that, whatever. But Emeka Egbuka, let's talk about him. Expectations for his rookie season. I mean, look, might be starting the season as his team's wide receiver too. And when a lot of people, and some people that I actually spoke to after the pick, described him as a Chris Godwin light, like a mini Chris Godwin, kind of can do a lot of the same things that Chris Godwin's been so good at doing over the past few years. And I think Emeka Egbuka obviously is not going to be on the level of Chris Godwin right away, but I think in terms of what you want to do as an offense, right, assuming not a ton changes, right, from Liam Cohen to Josh Grizzard, assuming not a ton changes, I think this team would be able to slot Emeka Egbuka right in and hit the ground running right away, pretty much.
I do want to say this. Like, I don't have expectations of Ibuka getting like 1,000 yards this year. I don't
Sure.
think that that's fair or realistic to the situation, to the context of the wide receiver room.
There's too many mouths to feed.
Yes, not just in that wide receiver room, just the
Yeah.
offense as a whole. But if he does go out there and put up, say, I don't know, 450 to 600 receiving yards and let's say 5 to 8 touchdowns, it's a pretty solid rookie season, in my opinion. One that you're kind of excited about because he can put up that production with Evans and Godwin there. He will be showing signs of, man, this guy could be a number 2, number 1 going forward a couple years from now, right? Which
Mhm.
I feel like that's like a long-term goal. But for Ibuka, that's kind of where my expectations lie. I'm not going to sit here and drink that much hopium and say, hey, 1,000 yards, Emeka Ibuka going crazy. No, because look, at the end of the day, this offense is still going to flow through the trio of Baker, Evans, and Godwin, right? Like that is
Mhm.
still where the flow of this offense is going to start. So, Ibuka, I think he'll have some good moments. He's a very, very skilled player. But I don't think we'll start to see those like really high expectations, honestly, until probably like year 3,
Yeah.
maybe year 2 at the earliest.
Sure. Yeah, no, I definitely think it's possible. But I think the fit with what he can do, I think is pretty convenient for the Buccaneers. They were able to get somebody who can do a lot of things that Chris Godwin can do. Obviously, you want Chris Godwin out there, right? Like the Bucs offense without Chris Godwin is a worse offense. But I do think Emeka Egbuka can come in, and I agree. I don't think 1,000 yards and this and that. I don't think that's realistic. I don't think that's something to place on him. But I do think he can still be productive. Had a pretty good rookie season. Jalen McMillan is another guy who was in this wide receiver room. Was the wide receiver 3 last year. Really ended off the year very hot, right? Like very hot. Now takes sort of a reduced role in this offense when Chris Godwin comes back. For now, though, I mean, if Godwin's not there, he's their third option, right? So he's in a similar boat right now. So, we'll see what role McMillan plays. But I do want to talk about the wide receiver 5 battle here, right? Because I think it's maybe one of the bigger battles of the entire camp for the Bucs, and that is Sterling Shepard, the veteran, Trey Palmer, who has maybe been on some thin ice, maybe. And then the rookie Tez Johnson out of Oregon. I know a lot of people are excited about him. What do you think of those 3 guys and that battle for the wide receiver 5 spot?
What's so crazy to me about that is obviously your top 4 receivers are Evans, Godwin, Ibuka, McMillan. Okay. You have 3 guys, minimum 3. We're not even including the other bunch of wide receivers we're going to talk to, but we have 3 guys right now battling for one spot. To be honest with you, I'd probably still give the nod to Sterling Shepard. And at that point, it's like, okay, then you have Trey Palmer versus Tez Johnson for wide receiver 6, which means one of those 3 guys, very likely they might not make the roster.
If they carry 6, because last year they carried 5 to start the year.
Right. So there's going to be some good receivers getting cut. I
Mhm.
mean, just simple as that. So I'm going to be very curious. I said this in the running back video, Evan, and I know you agree with this one. Is Trey Palmer a guy who might get traded? Because that's something we've actually heard about,
Mhm.
where the Steelers, I think, had some type of conversation with the Bucs about the possibility of adding in Trey Palmer. Now, I'm gonna be honest, Trey Palmer, I've only been to 2 training camp practices both so far, but like Palmer's going out there and doing some good work. I mean, he is.
Mhm.
We're recording this on July 25th. He's had a couple of really nice plays in training camp so far, as has Sterling Shepard and Tez Johnson. So I wonder if Palmer goes out there and does some pretty good work in like preseason games. Yeah, I think he's going to be a guy that the Bucs might get some calls on.
Mhm.
I don't think that I like to think that Sterling Shepard probably has a spot on this roster. And then it just comes down to Trey Palmer and Tez Johnson. It's like, I mean, dude, a lot of people like Tez. He
Mhm.
seems like a bit of a spark plug type of guy. They're both going to be battling for returning jobs too. That may very well decide that battle.
I think so. Yeah.
It is who's going to be the better returner, Trey Palmer or Tez Johnson. You may get calls on both guys. but it seems like it'd be more likely at this point, like you said, because for some reason Trey Palmer just fell out of favor in this offense after Brady. I don't know why, because he had a couple of interesting moments with Brady. I mean, you're both enjoy Trey Palmer, what he can do, but yeah, it's gonna be one heck of a battle there, man.
Do have to fact check you because he never played with Brady, but his rookie season was Mayfield's first year, but he was really good in his rookie season, and sort of thought that was gonna happen again, and it just never did. So, a guy like Trey Palmer, I agree with you though. I do agree that, like, I think, spoiler alert, right? James had mentioned, and not anything he's heard or anything, just looking at the possibilities that maybe a guy like Sean Tucker is a guy who could be traded. Trey Palmer, I think, is the prime candidate for, like, dude who might be traded or is about to get cut, and a team calls the Bucs and is like, don't cut him. We don't want to compete with 30 other teams or whatever. We'll give you a 6th round pick. And the Bucs are like, okay, So could see that if the Bucs decide to move on from Trey Palmer. I still like Trey Palmer. I don't know why exactly he fell out of favor last year in Liam Cohen's offense. I mean, he was really not much of a factor there. And obviously Jalen McMillan, who I think Jalen McMillan is a better player than Trey Palmer, sure. But I would like to see Palmer get a little bit more run, and maybe he does in this preseason. Tez is the interesting one, though, because like you said, I think the more we talk about Bucky Irving, right, that new shiny toy, and people kind of forget about Rachaad White, or I think Tez Johnson is that new shiny toy, and people kind of forgetting about a guy like Trey Palmer there. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But the Buccaneers do also have a couple other guys in the room. We're not really going to go over much here, but Cam Johnson, who was on the team last year.
Everybody loves him.
Yeah, a preseason darling who didn't really play in the preseason last year.
Barely played. He played like 5 snaps. Everybody's like, this guy's great.
He's like
wide receiver 3.
He was like a lock to make the team in 2 weeks in the camp, and I didn't understand it.
He's like, he isn't practicing.
Yeah, Raheem Jarrett, who also had a couple of moments here and there when the Buccaneers were down some wide receivers, and then they also have a pair of one's an undrafted free agent, Garrett Green from West Virginia, and then also Dennis Houston, who has a little bit of experience there. It shows that Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants, Cowboys in 2022, Giants in 2023, so has some experience there. But obviously the big one, a lot of people are going to be paying attention to Chris Godwin's status to start the season. What do you guys think about Chris Godwin's status? Do you guys think that he is going to start the season healthy for the Buccaneers? Do you think they're going to rush him? As James has one more thought, go ahead.
Ryan Miller?
Is he not there? I think he's there. I might not have.
Yeah, Ryan Miller, I think, is still on the roster, I thought.
Yep, he is. That's on me. It's on me.
Yeah.
Chest bat on me. But yeah, Ryan Miller is still there. Caught was it a touchdown or 2-point conversion against Kansas City? It might have been a touchdown, I think.
I think it was a touchdown, yeah.
Yeah, touchdown. Against Kansas City. Put some respect on Ryan Miller's name. But yeah, so like I said, do you guys think Chris Godwin is going to be good to go? Do you think the Bucs are going to wait and see? What do you think about Emeka Egbuka's rookie season? What are your expectations for Egbuka in his rookie year? Who do you think wins that wide receiver 5 spot? If they carry 6 wide receivers, who do you think it's going to be? You think a guy like Trey Palmer could be traded? Do you think Tez Johnson could be the starting kick returner? There's a lot of questions about this wide receiver room, actually, and it's pretty exciting. So let us know in the comment section below. I want to thank James again for joining me in this video today. I want to thank you all for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and go Bucs.